Okay, so today our topic was life cycle methods. Okay, so in React, we have some life cycle methods. Okay, so before understanding life cycle methods in React, can you guys tell me what do you mean by life cycle? I mean, in general terms, in normal terms, you might have come across this word, right? Life cycle, a life cycle of human being or life cycle of any product or life cycle of anything. So anyone have the idea what is life cycle?
So it is said to be as a lifespan of something, some object.
The
That is in the period of that.
Yeah. Anyone else? Anyone have any other answer? Okay. So life cycle is nothing but it's a time period from birth to death. So आप जब भी birth लोगे, birth से लेके death तक जो आपका time है ना, for that particular period we are going to call as a life cycle. So through every life cycle, just give me 1 minute, guys. Yeah. So is my voice audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what is life cycle means? Life cycle method is nothing but the time period between birth to death. Okay. In the same way, in our React also we have the component. So every component has some life cycle. So what is the life cycle of that component means that your component mounts from there to until it mounts. Nothing but from loading into the browser till we remove that component from the browser. That particular time period we are going to call as a life cycle of a component. So for example, you have this browser. Okay. Now you have your component like this. Now this component loads in your browser, right? From this period till this component removed uh, from this browser, this particular time period we are going to call as a life cycle of this component. So time period between loading into the browser till unload from that browser, that particular time period we are going to call as a life cycle. So we have some names for that. For example, if you are loading any component inside your browser, for that we are going to call as a mounting the component. Mounting the component is nothing but loading your component inside a browser. Just we have a different word that apart from that nothing. So it's like a mounting. If you are removing your component from your browser or from your DOM, we are going to call that particular process as a unmounting. So this is mounting, and if you are removing it, it is a unmounting. So just you have to remember these terms: mounting, and one more is unmounting. Okay, mounting means we are just loading our component inside a DOM. Unmounting means we are just removing our component from the DOM. So that is mounting and unmounting. Okay, so what is life cycle means? The time period from mounting to unmounting. That particular period we are going to call as a life cycle of a component. So whenever your component is going to mount first time inside your browser, there are certain predefined functions, some certain predefined functions, and that predefined functions are going to trigger at particular phase at a particular point of time. So we have to just learn what are that methods and when that methods will be triggered nothing but called. So there are certain functions, for example, there are totally 10 functions which will be called at certain point during life cycle of component. So whenever component loads till unload, during that phase certain methods will be there and certain methods will trigger at certain point. So we have to just learn what are that methods and when they will be triggered and what is the purpose of that methods, like that. So that's what we are going to call as a life cycle method. And for every human being, for us also there is a life cycle. Our life cycle is from birth to death. So during this life cycle we go through some phases, like we have a childhood phase, then we have something like younger phase, then we have something like called old age phase. So we have different phases in our life cycle, right? In the same way components also have certain phases. What are that phases means? First we are going to call as a mount phase. One is mount phase, then update phase. Whenever your component is going to update, that time it will go through update phase. Then we have unmount phase. So there are totally three phases. Like how we have the phases, in the same way component will also have the phases which it will go through during its life cycle. So what are that phases? One we are going to call as a mount phase, nothing but mounting phase. Then second one is updating phase, and third one is your unmounting phase. Totally we have the three phases for the component. And when these phases will come, whenever our component mounts in the DOM, from there till it unmounts from the DOM, during this period, this three phases, our component will go through these three phases. Now in each phases there are certain functions. So for this mounting phase, so we have one first life cycle method is constructor. Constructor is your first life cycle method. In the same way, you have something called static get derived state from props. This is the second life cycle method. All are predefined method. Already logic has been written. Just we need to do when they will be called. And one more is render. Third one is render. And fourth one is your component did mount. These are the four functions. These are the four functions which will be triggered or which will be called whenever your component is in mounting phase. In the same way, you have a updating phase also. Okay, you have something called updating phase also. In updating phase also, we have some more life cycle methods. So we have to just know what are that life cycle methods. So let me remove this. Yeah. So in updating phase, you have totally 5 life cycle methods. One is static, which is common in both mounting and updating phase. Static get derived state from props. Okay. Then we have here something called should component update. Third one is render. Then we have something called get snapshot before update. And finally, component did update. So here it is a component did mount, here it is a component did update. These are the 5 life cycle methods which we have in our updating phase. And the final one is unmounting phase. In this unmounting phase, we have only one life cycle method, that is component will unmount. Component will unmount. We have only one life cycle method. So whenever our component will be in unmounting phase, that time only one method is there, that is component will unmount. So these are the 10 life cycle methods which are present in your React. So in that, only this one and this component did update and component will unmount and render and constructor. That's it. Only these life cycle methods are very, very important. Apart from that, all these life cycle methods are used very, very, very rarely. Very rarely. Sometimes you will never use this particular life cycle methods in your project. In sometimes, in very rare cases, you will use this one. Then this should component update, and this get snapshot before update. In very rare case, you will use it. Okay, these are the predefined methods. Who will call these methods? Your React will call these methods. When React will call these methods? Whenever your components are in this particular phase: mounting phase, updating phase, and unmounting phase. So let's try to understand how, in which sequence they are triggered. So first time, whenever this is, suppose this is your browser and this is your component. Now, first time, whenever your component is going to load, first time inside your browser, that time your component will go through mounting phase. That time your component will go through mounting phase. Whenever it is in a mounting phase, if you define these methods in your component, then that will be triggered in this sequence only. First, it will call constructor, then it will call get derived state from props, then it will call render, then it will call component did mount. So it will trigger in this particular phase only. I mean, in this particular sequence only. Now, suppose if you update your state, whenever you update your state, your component will be removed. Again, it will be mounted. That time we will say our component went through updating phase. That time our component went through updating phase. Now, once your component is updated, then your component will be in your updating phase. Whenever it is in updating phase, again this method will be triggered in this particular sequence. Okay, in the same way, if you remove this component completely from your DOM, then it goes through before removing. I mean, before removing it, it will just go through unmounting phase. Now, in this unmounting phase, only one method will be triggered, that is component will unmount. So before removing component, if you want to do certain operations on this component, like releasing some resources or deleting some data, so all that operations we can write in this particular method. So before removing this component, this particular method will get triggered. So let's see this step by step, how these methods are triggered and in which sequence they are triggered. So for that, simply I am just creating one folder inside this component called lifecycle. Now inside this, I'm just creating one component called lifecycle.js. Now this is my component. So if you want shortcut, just say RCE, click on tab. You just got the snippet of your class component. Now just remove this export from here, because already we have here export default lifecycle. Done. Here I'm just taking one container. This is my container. Now inside this container, I'm just taking one row, and inside that I'm just taking one call and one h2. That's it. And I'm saying here life cycle methods. And here something like MT5 and one paragraph lorem something 90 tab. Save it. Now this component I want to load. So in this navbar, I will just go to this navbar and let me see whether we have any life cycle here. So I don't have any link like life cycle. So I'm just copying this one and pasting here. So I just wanted to copy entire li, and here I will simply say life cycle. Now here LC. Now whenever I click on this life cycle, I need to load this life cycle component. So for that I have to do configuration. Just go to this route and here simply say route path. If my path is /LC, then you have to load my lifecycle component. You have to simply load my lifecycle component. That's it. Now save it. Now if you come here, you got lifecycle. If I click on this, now see lifecycle component is loaded. Now go to this lifecycle. Done. Okay. Now see, if I say here home, whenever I click on the home, what happens? This life cycle method is removed from your DOM and your home component is loaded. If I click on again this context API, then home component is removed from your DOM and context API component is loaded. In the same way, if I click on the life cycle, then API component is removed from your component and life cycle method component is loaded. Once this component is loaded, then this component go through mounting phase. Whenever it go through mounting phase, if you define this method, then all this method will be triggered in the sequence. First it will call constructor, then get derived state from props, then render, then component did mount. So let's see here. So this is the method. Here I don't have anything, I have just render. This is also one of the life cycle method. Okay. Now here I am just writing console.log, or here I can simply write console.log of something called render is called. Okay, render is called. Now if you go to your console, now if I just remove everything, if I go to the context API, I don't have anything. If I click on the life cycle, now see render is called. It is called. In the same way, if here I don't have any constructor, so if you are not writing constructor, then constructor will not be called. But now I want to write here one constructor, so I'm just writing one constructor. Now I have just defined one constructor. Okay, I have just defined one constructor. So here also I'm just writing console.log. Console.log. Constructor is called. Now how many lifecycle methods I have defined in my component? Only two. One is constructor and one is render. Apart from that, I don't have any lifecycle method. So whenever my component loads, whenever my component is going to load first time, that time two methods will be triggered. Now see the sequence. First constructor is called, then your render is called. It's not like we are writing first constructor, that's why first constructor is called. So the sequence of calling is like first constructor it will call, then render will call. Then what we have something called static get derived state from props. Now here you can just write static get derived state from props. Now here also I'm just writing console.log of, here simply I will say get derived state from props is called. Now if you see before constructor, I am writing get derived state from props. Now what is the sequence of triggering? First it will call constructor, then it will call get derived state from props, then it will call render. Now if I go here, now if I go through this context API and click on this life cycle. Now see, first it called constructor, then it called get derived state from props, then it called render. So this is what the sequence we have written. Constructor, get derived state from props, then render. Now if you define component did mount, then it will call component did mount also. Here I'm just writing component did mount. Console.log of component did mount is called. Now save it. Now, if I go to this context API, clear all this. Again, if I come to lifecycle method, my lifecycle method will be loaded. Nothing, it will be mounted. Whenever it is mounted, this for lifecycle method will be triggered. Constructor, get derived state from props, render, and component did mount. Now we have to understand what is the purpose of all these methods. What are the purposes of all these methods? The first thing is constructor. Constructor is used always to initialize your state. So whenever you wanted to maintain your state in your component, and if you want to initialize it, like if you want to maintain some default values, then you can initialize your state inside your constructor. Constructor purpose is purely initializing your state. What is next? Get derived state from props. Now this is used in case if you want to update your state based on props. Now this get derived state from props will take two things. One is props and it will take one is state. Now based on props, if you want to update your state, based on props, if you want to update your state, then you can update your state in get derived state from props. So get derived state from props is, by seeing this name only you can understand deriving state from props. If you want to just update your state based on props value, then that updation you can do in your get derived state from props. And normally like 99% you will never get this kind of requirement. Very rarely you will get this kind of requirement. For in my experience, I never got this requirement. We have never used up to now this particular method. And even in React documentation, React also clearly mentioned it is used very, very, very rarely. In future, they might remove it because no one is using it, so they might remove it. So it is like very rarely it is used. So the purpose of get derived state from props is if you want to update your state based on some props value, then you can just go with get derived state from props. And third lifecycle method is render. Render, we know why we use render, right? To create a UI. If you want to create your UI, we use a render. So render is purely used to create your user interface. Done. Now, once you created your user interface, sometimes you need to display the data in your user interface. Now that data might come from the database. So it means if you want to do any asynchronous call or network calls, network logic, like sending the request to a server, or if you have any asynchronous operation, then all that operations you have to write in component did mount. You have to write in component did mount. So component did mount is used for handling all asynchronous operation. It can be your network logic. Mainly we will write network logic only. Network logic is nothing but getting the data from server. So we have seen, right, how to get the data from server and display in our component. So if you go here, this is Axios. We have used Axios, right? Now initially it's like data is not available. If I click on the get data, I got some data from server and I'm displaying this data. Now how this data is coming? This data is coming from the server. So for that we have written some network logic, right? Axios.com. So all this logic, if you want, you can write in component did mount. Simply component did mount. Apart from that, nothing. So if you see here what was the requirement? If I click on the button, then a request should go to a server and get the data from there. But my requirement is whenever I click on this Axios, then only one request should get and the data should be visible without doing any action. Here I am clicking on this button, nothing but I am doing some action. Then I am getting the data. But my requirement is whenever my component loads, that time only one request should go and get the data and display here without doing any action on this particular component. Now, in that case, we can write this particular logic, network logic inside component did mount. So this component did mount will be called by your React. When it will call, once your render method is called and once your UI is displayed properly in your DOM, then your component did mount will be called. Now, these are the sequences how they are going to call. Now, this is what they are going to ask in your interviews. Do you know lifecycle methods of React? If you say yes, can you tell me how many lifecycle methods we have in the class component? In the class component, so we have nearly 10. So can you explain me what are the phases we have of lifecycle method? We have 3 phases. One is mounting phase, another is updating phase, one more is unmounting phase. Now they will ask you, do you know what are the methods present in mounting phase? Yes. First, it is like constructor, then we have get derived state from props, we have render, and we have component did mount. So this is what the questions they are going to ask you in the interviews. So here we have created any interview questions folder. So here we have not created, right? I will just create one interview question folder and I will just try to give you all the interview questions they are going to ask from this React. So based on each topic, we'll just try to get all that interview questions. So inside this SRC, I'm just creating one folder here or one file called interviews.
Agar, one question. Sorry, I missed it. One. Like, what is the use of component did mount last component last method?
It is used to handle your asynchronous operations in your component. For example, if you want to do that network call, then that is also asynchronous, right? So that kind of logics we will write in component did mount.
Say like if I want to call some API.
Exactly. If you want to call any APIs, then that logic we will write inside component did mount.
Okay.
That's what we are going to call as a network logic. Any asynchronous operation. So maximum like 99% we will write that network call, API calls only here. All the APIs calls are written in the component did mount. Because sometimes you get a requirement, here we are hard coding the data, but sometimes you have to display this data from the database, right? This data should come from the database. So that time we have to send one request to the API to get that data. So that logic we will write in component did mount. So we are going to use it. Practically, we are going to use all this. So here I'm just trying to explain you what are the methods present in lifecycle methods. Okay, and in which sequence they are triggered. So constructor is used specially for initializing your state. If you want to initialize your state, apart from that, nothing. Get derived state from props is used. If you want to update your state based on props value, then you can update your state inside get derived state from props. Render is used to create UI, and component did mount is used to handle your entire asynchronous operations like your API calls, networks logic, all that we can use here. And same goes with updating phase also. When updating phase will be triggered, whenever your component will go through update phase. Component go through update phase is nothing but whenever your state get updated. Whenever your state get updated, your component goes through updating phase. Now, whenever your component is going through updating phase, during that, this lifecycle methods are triggered. First is get derived state from props, which we have same in mounting phase also. Then should component update, this is triggered. Should component update, Now this should component update will return Boolean value. If you say true, next set of methods will be triggered. If you say false, then next set of methods will not be triggered. So next component should component update will be triggered. Then again render will be triggered. Then get snapshot before update. Suppose before updating your component, if you want previous state value, and if you want to perform certain operations on that, then you can just get the previous state value before updating. What was your previous state value? That value you will get from get snapshot before update. Then component did update. This is again used for the asynchronous purpose. After updating your component, again, if you want to do any API calls, then you can just write that logic in component did update. So let me do here. Let me take here one state. So simply I'm just taking something called name. Initially it will be like empty, or here initially I'm just saying something called like Kabir, and I just want to display that here. So I'm just creating one button, and here I will just display that name. This dot state dot your name. Now here if I say simply class name equals to btn hyphen outline danger. Now if I save it and go here in life cycle, I have here. Now my requirement is whenever I click on this button, then this name should change. This name should change. Okay, so for that, obviously I have to write here on click event. Now whenever on click event is triggered, I have to call certain function, this dot update state. I'm just calling update state. So directly I can write here one function. In this, I can just simply call this dot set state. We know that set state will take our state as an argument. Our state has a property name, and it should get updated with another value called Sagar. Now I have saved it. Now if I click on this, I got here Sagar. Now whenever my state is updated, my component will also get updated. Whenever my component will get updated, my component will go through updating phase. And during updating phase, all these methods will be triggered. If you define these methods, all these methods will be called. Anyways, we defined get derived state from props, so no need to define it. Now we have to define should component update. So here I am just defining one more, should component update. Now remember, it will return always one Boolean value. So as of now, I'm just writing true. Now here I'm just writing console.log. And component should component update will be called. In the same way, I have one more render. I have then get snapshot before update. Here also I'm just saying console.log of get snapshot before update. And in the same way, component did update. Now I have defined all the methods. One is first it will call get derived state from props, then should component update, then render, then get snapshot before update, then component did update. Okay. Now I am just saving it. Now let's come here. Now right click, go to inspect, go to your console. Okay. I'm just clearing all this. Now I will be suppose in the Axios. I am in the Axios component. Now whenever I will click on the lifecycle tab, now this Axios component is removed, lifecycle component is loaded. So first time it is loading, so it will go through mounting phase. So I have clicked, so it went to the mounting phase. So use in mounting phase, first it will call constructor, then get derived state from props, then render, then component did mount. Remember, this is a mount. Okay, now I am clearing it. Now I will click on this button. Whenever I click on this button, my component will go through now update phase. Now, whenever it went through update phase, now see how many things it is called. Okay, so it called get derived state from props first. First, it is called get derived state from props. Constructor is not called. Get derived state from props is called. Then should component update is called. Then render is called. Then get snapshot before update is called. Okay. Now it is just giving one warning. That's because here we can just say return null. Now it will not give that warning. So it should return some value. So if it doesn't return anything value, React recommend us to make it as a, empty value. Now if I click on this, now see, first get derived state from props, then should component update, then render, then get snapshot before update, then component did update. So in this sequence, they are going to be called. Now the purpose is same. In your updating phase also, if you want to update your state based on props, then just do that updation here. That's it. Now should component update. Now here you can just, write whether your component should get update or not. If your state value get updated, then just say yes, it should get updated. If it is not, then you can just return false. So it will not get updated. Third is your render. Obviously, render is used to render your UI. Then get snapshot before update. Now this get snapshot before update will take two things. One is previous props. So what was your previous props and previous state? So after updating, your state got changed. But what was your previous state? That value you want means that value will get from here. Previous state. Now, based on that, if you want to write certain logic, then you can write that logic here. And this is also very, 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 very rarely it is used. So you will never get a requirement where you have to write certain condition based on previous state or props. So if you get such requirements, then you can utilize this particular function. Then your component did update is called. Now here it is used for handling your asynchronous operations like your API calls or network logic, or if you want to do certain asynchronous operations, then you can do here. 99% we will use this particular method for APIs calls only, nothing but network logic. For that purpose only, we will use this component did update. Now this is the sequence. Now it is not mandatory that you have written in the sequence, so it is called in the sequence. So it's not like that. You can just remove this and you can keep it on the top, or you can keep it on the last also. So if I keep it in the top or in the second place also, then also it will be called in same sequence only. If I just remove it and if I click on this, now see they called in the same sequence only. Get derived state from props, should component update, render, snapshot, component did update. Now, if suppose this should component update, if it returns false instead of true, then next set of functions will never trigger. First, it will call your get derived state from props, then it will call should component update. Then if it is returning false, then next set of lifecycle methods will not be called. Now see, render, get snapshot before update, and that is not called. It stopped near component should update only. So if you say return false, the next set of lifecycle methods will not be called. If you say true, the next set of lifecycle methods will be called. Now if I clear it and if I click on this, then all will be called. So here we can just write a condition just to check our previous state value and present state value. If it is not changed, no need to update your component. So no need to call next set of lifecycle method, just for the optimization purpose. Apart from that, nothing. This lifecycle method and this lifecycle method is used very rarely. 1, this 2, and this 3. Very rarely we will use. So maximum we will go with constructor. Then we will just go with render and component did mount and component did update. So these are the lifecycle methods in your update phase. Now next is unmount phase. When unmount phase will be triggered? Whenever you wanted to remove your component. So I'm just writing this component will unmount. Now simply here I will write alert. Component will unmount. Now save it. Now come here. Okay. Now I'm just closing this one. Now we are in the life cycle one. Now here we have written component will unmount. If I click on context, now see, before removing our component, this alert function is triggered. Alert function is triggered is nothing but your component will unmount will be triggered. Now if you say okay, then it went here. Now again, if you come here, again if you try to click somewhere else, now see again that method is called. So when that method is called, component will unmount before removing your component. Before removing your component, if you want to perform certain operations, like if you want to delete certain data from your storages, local storages or session storages, or if you want to do certain operations, then that type of operations you can write in component will unmount. And this is also very rarely used, not much. I mean, it is used just to delete some local storage or session storage data in case if that component wants that data to be deleted. Then that logic we can write here. Component will unmount. So these are the lifecycle methods we are going to use in the React. And maximum in your real time, we will use only 3 lifecycle method, that is component, did mount, then component did update, and component will unmount. These are only the lifecycle methods we are going to use in regular basis. Now, if you are developing component with class component, then you have that many 10 lifecycle method. But if you define your component with functional component, then in functional component, you can use only these 3 lifecycle method. Your functional component will support only these 3 lifecycle method. The next 7 lifecycle methods are not supported in your functional component. Only these 3 lifecycle methods are supported. And even React is telling that if you want to create your component, always give first preference to your functional component only. Up to now, we have created all the components using class approach. But React is suggesting, giving advice that if you want to create any component, first try to create with the functional component only. Give the first approach to functional component. Now, after some in the next week, we will introduce the functional component. Now, there again we will see how these 3 lifecycle methods are maintained in your functional component. So in functional component, only these 3 you can maintain. So React always suggests that always go for functional component instead of class components. In case if you require this kind of methods, lifecycle methods, then you have to create your component using class component, or else just go with functional component. So these are the lifecycle methods which will be triggered in your mounting, updating, and unmounting phase of your components. So we will use all these lifecycle methods while doing the next set of problems. Okay. So here first we know constructor. We used constructor maximum time. We used this render also. Always we will use this render also. Now let's see how we can use this component did mount. Component did mount. So let me go to that Axios only. So this is the Axios component where we call this get data method, right? This get data is called. When this get data is called, whenever we click on this particular button, whenever you click on this button, so this is the component. If I go on this Axios, this one. If I click on this get data button, then this function is called. Get data function is called. Now what we are doing in the get data, we are just sending one request to an API using Axios. Then we are receiving one promise, we are just handling that promise, and we are just updating our state. We are just updating our state. Now, when this method is called, whenever you click on the button, but my requirement is I don't want to click on the button. Whenever I go to this component, that time only one request should go to a server and get that data, and that data should be displayed here. User should not do any action like clicking on the button or something. So in that case, what we have to do, we have to call this method in your component did mount. So simply I will define here component did mount. Component did mount. Now simply in this component did mount, I will call this get data. How to call this dot get data. That's it. Now if I save it, now if I go here, now see I'm in the home. Now I'm just going Axios. I'm not performing any action, but still I got the data. Now how this data got? By calling this get data. Who called this get data? Component did mount. Who called component did mount? React is called. When React called component did mount, whenever your component loaded first time, that time this method was called. And internally we called this method. Now if I go here to lifecycle, again if I call context API, again if I call Axios, now see I'm getting the data. Now like this network call logics you can write in your component did mount. Component did mount. Okay. So any doubts in this lifecycle methods?
Agar in real-time projects, are we using this like mostly we are
Yeah,
actually
mostly we are
coding
using
this,
these three.
This three, right? Did mount, did update.
Yeah, and especially this component did mount. Update we might not use much, but this will be used. 99% we will use this particular lifecycle method in each and every component. Why we will use? Because we will never hard code the data. Here we have hard coded this data. Welcome to Axios and this lorem. We have hard coded it. But in real time, you will never hard code any data. All the data will come from the server. So that time, obviously, we will write that component did mount only. Okay. So just focus only on these three, because these three are used maximum. All the next set of methods will never be used actually. So even I think in the coming version, React will remove all that methods. It will be just deprecated. So this that's why in the functional component they have not introduced this set of methods. They have just introduced this three only. So in the functional component they have not given anything, because when React was started, that time we used to create the component was only using class approach, the way we are creating now. But after from 16th version of your React, they have introduced functional component was introduced before, but there is a concept called hooks that was introduced. So we'll understand what are that hooks. So from version 16th, React strongly suggests us, they just advise us, they don't force us, they just advise us to use functional component instead of class component. And in this functional component, they have just given these three methods. They have just removed all that remaining methods, because they have also seen that no one is using that methods and we don't get such requirements. So they wanted to remove. So I think in the coming versions, they might remove that completely. So these are your lifecycle methods. So what are the questions they can ask in lifecycle methods means? The first, they will ask you something called, what is lifecycle of component? Then they might ask, what are the phases of a component? What are the methods present in different phases? Like they can just directly ask, can you explain me the methods present in mounting phase, or like unmounting phase or updating phase? Or they can directly tell you, can you explain the methods present in all the phases? Then they will ask you, this is one of the important question, what is the difference between component did mount and component did update? Component did update, because they look little bit similar, that's why this question is asked. But just simply the purpose is same, but it is called in mounting phase, it is called in your updating phase. Both are used to handle asynchronous operations. Both are used to handle async operations. Like if you say async operation, they will ask you what kind of async operations. Now you can just simply say API calls or network calls. So maximum everybody will use that network calls only. Apart from that, nothing. So these are some of the questions, interview questions, what they are going to ask from this life cycle concept. In the same way, so let me write some more questions, whatever we have covered up to now. What is React? And purpose of React? And what kind of application you can develop with React? Like single page applications. And the simple answer is you can develop SPA applications. In the same way, they will ask you what is state. Okay. And before that, they can ask you something like, in how many ways you can create the components? In how many ways you can create the component? And what are component? Now, if you say class component and functional component, then they will ask you what is the difference between class component and functional component. Now that answer you will get once you have learned your class functional component as well. So what is the difference between class component and functional component? So we are just learning class component. Now after, from next Monday, we will learn how to create the component using functional way, so that we will have the command on both the approaches. Now they will ask something called, what is props? Now what are the relationship between like how many ways we can maintain in how many ways you can maintain relationship between the component? Okay, like this. So I have these questions already. I have these questions. So let me get that questions from previous example. And let me paste here. Enter your questions. Let me delete this. If I just refresh it, I should get that. So I have just wrote all the interview questions. So nearly we have like 44. Okay. So if I want, I will just add. So this is not required for freshers. Okay, so slowly we will understand each and everything here. So just whenever you go for any interviews, just go through these particular questions. Just see whether you know all the answers or not. So I'm just pretty sure that you will get all the questions from this particular only. You might not get same like directly like this, but indirectly you will get all these questions only. Okay, so like what is library? React is library or framework. What is React? Purpose of React? What is component? In how many ways you can create component? What is state? How to update your state? Like what happens when set state is called, like that. So this kind of questions they will ask you. So I have just maintained some of the questions here. If I'm missing any questions, I will just add that questions here. So you will have this interview questions as well. Okay. So from tomorrow, we are going to start with Redux concept. So this is one of the most important concept in your React. So actually this is not a part of React. Redux is a separate library. How Axios, Bootstrap are separate, in the same way Redux is also a separate library. Okay, so now it will take some 3 to 4 sessions. So this is pakka interview question in your React. So whenever you give any interview of React, they are going to ask you, do you know Redux? So 90% people are going to use Redux in their applications. So Redux is very important and very convenient way to share the data between the components, if they have relationship or they don't have relationship. So for that, Redux is very, very, very important. Okay. So from tomorrow, we are going to start with the Redux. And remember, just try to practice whatever concepts we have covered up to now. Okay. And even Redux, you have to practice each and every question. I mean, whatever we will do on that particular day, try to practice on the same day. If you won't practice, then it will become very, very complicated. Concept is very easy. Implementation is little bit complicated. So once you know the flow, once you develop 2-3 times same thing, then it will be very easy for you to develop this Redux. Okay. So if you have any doubts, just stay back. If you don't have any doubts, yeah, you can leave the session.
Can you share your email ID, please, over here?
That you can take from the Nikita.
Sir, I have actually asked 2-3 times, but they are not replying anything.
Achha. So let me give that email ID because I don't remember the name. It's a React.js trainer. Something is there. Let me see that. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a RJS trainer a2n@gmail.com. Okay, if you have any kind of doubts, just try to mail me on this. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And the people who are from iBase, they can directly, ping me on the WhatsApp.
So you have contact number also, means?
Yeah, but that's what I cannot give that.
Okay.
But anyways, yes, you can take it. Okay. So in case if you have any doubts, just ping me on the WhatsApp.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.